What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to give you my watch list for Monday morning. Now, if you tuned into my recap from Friday, you know that I just finished the second leg of my small account challenge. I grew the account from a starting balance of about $2,000 to just over $6,000 over the course of 31 trades. That gave me a total profit of, it was about $4,300, which was decent. Now, thanks to so many of you guys hitting the thumbs up and helping me increase the donation, I was able to donate $25,000 on Friday to a nonprofit in Colorado for adults with disabilities. So I was really grateful to be able to do this, and it was thanks to your help, because even though I only made $4,000, we had over 17,000 thumbs up on the 12 episodes in that leg of the challenge. So I was able to donate $17,000 on your behalf, and just that episode on Friday got an additional 3,000 thumbs up. Now, I said the goal was 4,000 because, well, $17,000 was the thumbs up, 4,000 was my profit. That put us at 21,000, and I wanted to donate 25,000. So I said I need an extra 4,000 thumbs up, and you guys delivered. We got 3,500 thumbs up on that episode right now. So we're moving in the right direction. So thank you guys who have gone and watched that episode and have hit the thumbs up on it. Okay, so with the small account challenge now on hold, I have to take the money out. I've got to draw the balance back down to reset for the third leg of the challenge, which is going to be coming soon. And thank you guys for giving me your feedback on what you'd like to see me do. That's always helpful. So tomorrow, Monday morning, I'm going to be focusing on trading in my main account. And it's a good thing because if you recall, it's going to be 2 weeks ago on Tuesday that I suffered the biggest single trade loss I've had in more than 4 years. It was the second biggest loss I've ever had, second biggest red day, down $172,000. And yes, there's a recap for it right here on YouTube. It's tough to watch because I was in a pretty bad mood, but valuable, I think, as is day one of Trader Rehab, which of course was the next day. So if we look at my metrics right here, this gets a little perspective on where we sit on the small account or on my large account. So during the small account challenge, although I was able to trade pretty much every day during the first leg of the challenge, it was difficult. A secondary challenge was sort of dispersed attention, focusing on two accounts at the same time. So I had one really good day, but the rest were kind of small green days. So there was a bit of an opportunity cost with doing this small account challenge. Now, to commemorate crossing over $20 million of profit, I was kind of happy to do it, but then I catch this massive red day, and now I feel like I've got to make up a little bit of lost ground. So recouping the loss, of course, is first thing. And you can see I've done a good job with that, although I am still technically in a drawdown. So if we look at my detailed P&L and we look at, so we're currently at $20.5 million of total profit in the last 10 years. If we look just at year to date, I'm just over $6 million. So thank goodness I got myself back over 6. I dipped below 6 for a moment there. But you can see right here, this is where I sit. And this was my drawdown, went down $172,000, and I'm still down $24,000. So it's been almost 2 weeks and I'm still in a drawdown. Now, after that big red day, I really had two choices. The first choice was what I would have done 10 years ago. Do nothing, keep trading, just full throttle. And you know what would have likely happened on day two? After having lost so much on day one, I'm coming in emotional, shooting from the hip, being super aggressive. Second red day. Maybe as big or even bigger than the first red day. Now I come into day three, I'm still going crazy on emotion. I'm frustrated, I'm angry, and full throttle, third red day in a row. 4 red days in a row, 5 red days in a row. I mean, this is when things start to get crazy. I have, in my trading history, we can find a stretch here where I had 5 red days in a row. We're going to have to go back a little bit. I think it might have been 2022. Let's just clear this out. It might have been 2022 that this happened. It was a while ago. 2023 maybe? I don't think it was. Oh, no, there it is. 5 red days in a row right there in February. So you don't want this to happen. I mean, so having gone through that before, I said to myself after that big red day on Tuesday, I don't want to do that again. So I need to come back, Wednesday morning and just focus on locking up a base hit. Even though it's only, a tenth of what I lost yesterday, making it back, the only way I'm really going to make this back safely is 10 small steps at a time. And so here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So progress. What about Thursday and Friday? Thursday and Friday, no trades. I didn't see anything that really looked good. So I focused on the small account, and that was fine. I had a profit on Thursday and then a loss on Friday, a small loss. But there was really nothing that matched my 5 pillars of stock selection and felt really good. Now, speaking of the 5 pillars of stock selection, I have a brand new scanner that we've released for members at Warrior Trading and members on Day Trade Dash. It's Ross's 5 pillars scan. So this is a scan that is basically taking the top gainers scan and refining it down a little bit further to try to identify stocks that meet the 5 pillars. So it's my super focused scan. And what we're looking for here are stocks that are moving up quite a lot that meet all 5 pillars of stock selection, including price, float, relative volume, percentage change on the day, and then news. Now, news we can see by the flame here. I'm actually right now not excluding stocks with no news if they're on the scans, but we have to just manually check. Because there are times, as you probably well know, when a stock has no news, but it actually ends up being a really good move. And in that case, it's a B quality setup without news, but you could still do well on them. So certainly I've been using this 5 pillar scanner quite a lot in the last week. It's been super helpful. Now, as we look to Monday morning, I will be using it on Monday. There's no doubt about that. If you want to test it out, you can do a 2-week trial at Warrior Trading. During that trial, you'll have access to all these charts and scanners on your own. It'll be your own installation on your computer. So real-time market data, charts, scans, breaking news feed. You'll also have access to my chat room, which is cool, and my live audio video broadcast. It's a 2-week trial for $20. So I think you guys should check it out if you haven't already. Now, I usually start my watch list by looking at the after-hour gainers on Friday. And I often will check the overall condition of the market. So I check the S&P 500. As we know, this tariff, issue or whatever you want to call it, has resurfaced here with this tweet on Friday. This was a week ago. And then last week was sort of slow movement up. It feels to me, if anything, like a bear flag for another leg down. But, we're so dependent on news that a headline could move the market substantially to the upside or the downside. So after kind of a volatile week, Friday after hours, we really didn't get any big gainers. SLS up 130 million share float. That float's higher than I would typically go for. The stock's likely easy to borrow. FGI, 450,000 share float. It's a very low float, so we like that, but it's only up 36%. So what was the story? Makes a huge move, pulls back, and comes back up. So now that chart's kind of messed up. It doesn't mean it couldn't work for Monday morning for a little scalp trade back up towards 850, but that'd be our double top. Now on the daily chart, is there anything we should worry about? Higher volume red candle back here in September, where it popped up and then sold off, popped and dipped, and then kind of been selling off since. So it feels like it's on the backside, but so I have low expectations for it, but you just never know. STKE, 17 million share float, a little higher, but interesting chart. Sort of IPOs and then just goes straight down. Sometimes a recent IPO that starts to curl can give us a nice move and a leg up, but I'm not sure if that's really going to happen. DCTH, we've traded that one before. It's got 28 million share float. It's also a little more expensive, so that's a no-go. NUAIW, warrants, those are going to be, I don't like trading warrants, so we're going to disregard that. SUGP, $10 a share, 375,000 share float. It's a super low float. Daily chart on this, is there anything we should be watching? I think you could observe that recently, the high volume days, the candles have been green. The price has come back down since, but the candles are green. The 200 moving average is at around 917, so it gapped above that level. $11 trigger there, and then the next trigger looks like it's probably right around here, 1230. Then you've got a tiny bit of gap fill up here to the low of 1320. Then you have room to the top of this candle here, 1690, and then you've got room up to here. You've got room up to the top of this candle here, 1840, and then you've got room all the way up to here of 2660. So you might say, well, Ross, what about this level here? No, see, it's okay. It's a rookie mistake. So the way I look at it is this candle here, this long candle, broke through that level. It broke through it, and anyone that was selling here, which these levels can be resistance because people sell against these levels. Anyone who was selling there, they got taken out. So even though the candle came back down, they still got taken out. So now that candle cleared basically all of the price action behind it. So I say that it casts a shadow. So the shadow theory is what I use here. If this is a big candle, it's casting a shadow. So we disregard the price action behind it and we jump up to the next level. So we're constantly looking to the left and up. So left and up. All right. So anyway, so SUGP could be interesting. However, what's the catalyst? And there's not a clear catalyst. So, and it's a Hong Kong company. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. It's probably not going to work. Side chart, sure, put it on a side chart. But if it pops up, you're familiar with it, but probably going to be a higher risk stock to consider. And then beyond that, VRME, 9 million share float, decent daily chart. It's above the 200 moving average. I like stocks that are either above the 200 or have a lot of room up to the 200. If it's right below, though, that's a problem. The rest of these I'm going to disregard. So those are our after hours top gainers. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check. Let's see. Let's look at, recent reverse splits. We haven't checked this scanner in a little bit. So Raya, R-A-Y-A, this one, light volume reverse split a few sessions ago. This was back here, September 30th. It's not quite, a couple weeks ago. Big reverse split. That has the effect of reducing the float. So now the float's 700,000 shares. So we've got a very low float. If this comes out with news, we could move. Where's the 200 moving average? It's at almost $200 a share. So it's got a lot of room to the 200. So I feel like that's probably worth keeping on watch. JYD, I'm pretty sure this is so that's a Chinese company. Raya is a Chinese company. JYD is a Chinese company. Also has a lot of room up to the 200 if it had news. But again, you've got to take these with a grain of salt. MOB, Australian company, aerospace. So I have to look into that chart there. You could see how it looks like a big drop, but sometimes that's a data issue. I'll have to look into that one. Possibly. LPSN, this one's a little closer to the 200. It's at 14. So, I mean, it's at 6, so it's still got room, but it's a little closer, just comparatively. MOVE, this could work. So one thing that I would kind of ask is, what is our current theme in the market? So right now, we're kind of in between themes. Biotechs with good news have been working, but biotechs that have been sort of so-so news haven't worked well. The crypto private placement for a treasury strategy was working really well, then it got overplayed. However, this was also something we saw earlier in the year where it was working really well, it got overplayed, and then it started working again. So I wouldn't totally write off the private placement for a crypto treasury strategy, and what I would specifically look at is if there's a big name involved in the private placement. Like if there was Elon Musk or some big name, I would pay attention to it. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to work well, but I may end up being corrected on that, which would be fine. So we're kind of in between themes right now, waiting to see what's going to be the next, kind of profile that's going to work well. Biotech always works well when you've got a good biotech catalyst, but those are a bit unpredictable when they'll come. This one, VOR, recent reverse split, it's too expensive at $30, so no good. CLIK, this one, reverse split, room up to the 200, but I'm just not sure if it's going to work right now. So as we look at these, AREB, this one's selling off. It's almost becoming another Mullen. It just keeps going lower and lower. Mullen changed its ticker to BINI, but that doesn't change that it is probably the worst offender of reverse splits and secondary offerings I've ever seen. Ever. It's unbelievable. POAI, this one's a pretty bad one too. High volume red candles. So, some of these ones have been beaten up for a long time. If they do end up coming out with a good catalyst, but at a certain point, it's like the boy who cried wolf. I mean, even if it is a good catalyst, no one's going to trust it. Certainly with a stock like Mullen, now BINI, no one's going to trust it. I mean, it's just completely unsafe. So that's our recent reverse split scan. Then we've got the top recent IPO scan. So we'll pull this one up. Recent IPOs top moving. This, occasionally we will pick up some ideas from this scan. Check filings. So I'd have to check the filings. I'm not seeing any that are particularly low float right now. So I'd have to look into the filings of these ones to see if they are lower float. But you can see this theme on the daily chart of IPO and selling off. And unfortunately, this is what happens on a lot of these. They IPO and then they sell off. Insiders begin, either insiders or people that were assigned shares begin selling. The brokers like E-Trade and Ameritrade, when they give you an IPO, they don't want you to sell the shares right away. They'll not let you get shares from an IPO if you do that, which is kind of silly because you should be able to if you want to. But nonetheless, there are people that do anyways, and then the price ends up dropping. So nothing on the recent IPO scan. So where does that leave us? Well, most likely Monday morning, what we're going to be watching is our top gainers scanner and the 5-pillar scanner. And we're going to see if there's something that's popping up there from early pre-market, 4 a.m. to 6:30, that looks good as I sit down for sort of the 7 a.m. beginning of U.S. trading. I mean, I say that because most U.S. traders can't begin before 7. Certainly some can if you use one of the direct access brokers, but most commission-free brokers don't allow it. So I figure 7 a.m. is usually when we see the surge of volume coming in, and that's something that I'll be watching. Lower price stocks, a little bit of a theme perhaps, but not the easiest to trade typically. ARTV, Friday was just a lot of choppiness, nothing that was really, really impressive. So I'm going to try to build a cushion on Monday morning. And once I've got a cushion, then size up and take some more risk. And if I don't get a chance to build a cushion, then I'll keep my head down and just, wait for those good opportunities to show up. So it's about quality over quantity. All right. So if you want to watch me trading this coming week, check out our 2-week trial here at Warrior Trading. 2 weeks for $20. Gives you access to the chat room, the software, everything. You can really see what it's like to be a member. And I want to remind you, as always, to take it slow and to practice in a strategy before you put these new in a simulator before you put these new strategies, to the test with real money. Okay, so take it slow, and I'll see you guys back here bright and early on Monday morning. Thank you guys as always, and I'll see you on Monday.